to another episode of Listen to Us Rant About Movies. I'm Wes Ford.
And I'm Zach Harris.
We rant about movies and drink while we do it. On this episode, we'll be discussing what we've been watching, including our forced films. That's right, we're bringing it back. Followed by in-depth reviews of The Lighthouse and Parasite. Tonight, we're both drinking something separate. I have a Samuel Adams Cosmic Sour. Pretty interesting.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, what do you got? What do you got, Zach?
I'm drinking Reinhold, which is a Chicago distillery, pineapple coffee brandy.
Changing it up. I like it.
Yeah. Got a little sore throat, so a little harder booze, It helps the back.
It kills the bacteria, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, cheers.
Cheers, man.
For one thing, I didn't know Samuel Adams made sours.
Yeah, I didn't either. Is that like a special one?
It's a limited release.
Okay.
Yeah, Cosmic with a K, sour. It's I'm not like a big fan of sour beers, but this one's pretty good. It's like very drinkable. It's not like punch you in the mouth sour. It's like very smooth, but has that like slight sour flavor to it. It's pretty good.
Nice. Hell yeah. I'm a big fan of this brandy, and if you can get it, you should, because it's very tasty. You don't need much. I only got a little sipper here, but it's apparently made with entirely fruit. It's the only ingredient is fruit. And I guess this one has coffee in it. Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. They have apple. They got a bunch of different kinds. But yeah, it's good shit.
That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, before we get into what we've been watching, we'd like to remind you that this podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/LTURAM. You can choose from 180,000 titles from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. And I've been talking about how I got something off Audible. I got the audiobook for Dr. Sleep. Almost done with it, just in time for this weekend, where I'm going to go watch the movie. So
nice. Hell yeah.
And it was entirely free. So worth it. And if you like what you hear on this episode, remember you can find other episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. All right, let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it, brah.
Zach, what you been watching?
Well, I haven't been watching many horror movies for Halloween, but I've seen quite a few things since the last show. Excuse me. I recently watched Greener Grass, which is a new comedy. I don't know the names of the co-directors. Jocelyn DeBauer and Don Loeb. But yeah, it's
not to be confused with Grass is Greener, a Netflix documentary.
Oh no, definitely not that. It's kind of a weird suburban surreal comedy, kind of playing on the tropes of the like idyllic suburban like bright color society. Yeah, there's some really funny stuff in it, and I like the performances. And I like the tone, but it kind of it's a little try hard. Like you can tell that it's like really going for it. Mm-hmm. Which sometimes is good to be bold, and sometimes it just like comes off like it's a little weird for the sake of weird. You know what I mean? At times, I don't think it fully earned everything that happened in it, but there's some really funny ideas. It's just like like their son turns into a dog. He like jumps into a pool and comes out a dog, and then like part of the storyline is that they're like adapting to their son now being like a golden retriever, and it's just like treated very like, okay, that's like what happened. Like
that sounds pretty funny.
Yeah, it's definitely funny. And like the opening of the movie is the two women, and they're at a soccer game, and she like just asked the other woman, she's like, hey, do you like want my baby? And she's like, yeah, totally. Thanks so much. Like, so like these ideas and these like moments and the deliveries on concepts like that were really good. But but it didn't really fully, nothing fully like came together. I feel like for me, I think it made a lot of like small points, and there's a lot of small like good moments of humor, but it just didn't feel like a cohesive tone.
It wasn't more. It wasn't more than just those concepts.
Yeah, and it was going for it, which I appreciated, but it was like when the tone hit right, it was really great, but they just had trouble balancing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still worth a watch though. Like I'm not upset that I watched it. I didn't hate it. There's a lot to like, but didn't really fully, come together. I bet it'll be on some streaming thing.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
I recently watched The King on Netflix.
Okay, is that who's in that?
It's Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson's in it. Actually, a lot of people are in it. Actually, let me look this up because there's one important thing I want to say. It was written and Joel Edgerton. He co-wrote the thing and he's in it and he's pretty good. Overall, the movie's okay. It's definitely way too long. It's about 2 hours 20 minutes. It looks pretty good, but it's just, I don't know. I'll probably never watch it again. It's kind of dull for me. There's some cool sequences, but it's just, I don't know, just kind of a very predictable kind of period piece film. I also found that Timothée Chalamet in this part was just completely unconvincing. I think it just like soured it for me. Because it's like he does fine. Like he does a good, like a decent performance. Like he's not bad, but I just don't think he was right for the part. Like he just didn't fit the character for me, and I don't know. It's strange. It's just like I just saw him. I didn't see the character. So, I thought that was a pretty big bummer. And that's basically it. It's I wouldn't say go out of your way to see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got pretty bored with it. It's fine.
Who directed it? It's a jobber guy.
Directed by David McCode. He also directed War Machine, which I hated. Actually, I hadn't looked up anything that he did. He did stuff for Animal Kingdom, that show. Not a lot of stuff.
He didn't make the Animal Kingdom movie, did he?
No, I think the show.
Oh, okay.
I worked on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that's a good movie.
Joel Edgerton's good in it. Robert Pattinson is pretty good in it. He's always amazing. But other than that, it was fine. So I wouldn't go out of your way, like I said, to see it. Makes me a little nervous for the Dune with Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
Another movie he's starring in, big IP.
Yeah. I'm a little worried about that all around, but we'll see. I mean, I'll see it.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely going to see it. But yeah, that's The King.
Nice. Real quick, should I not talk about The Irishman?
You could say like a very brief...
Okay.
Some thoughts if you'd like, but obviously don't spoil because I want to see it, and we're gonna do we're gonna do a full review later. But,
yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. But feel free to talk about your experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can bunch in and quickly go through. The film festival was in Chicago, so Chicago International was going on. Always making a point to go to that. I think last time I talked about The Truth, the Koreeda movie that was playing, which was very good. But I went back and I saw a movie called Deerskin, the new Quentin Dupieux, which was not very good. Did not care for it. Really enjoyed Wrong. I liked Rubber at the time. It's a movie about Jean Dujardin plays a guy who sets out to destroy all leather jackets but his deerskin jacket. And, like, it's a really like, stupid, kind of funny idea, him just being like, take off your jacket. And they're like, why? It's like, because I want to be the only one in the room wearing a jacket, because I like my jacket. It's just like, what? Like, what is this logic?
Let's make a whole movie on this.
Yeah, which honestly was not warranted. It just, the idea does not blossom anything past that. Like, that's a funny gag.
Right.
But it was just kind of shitty, and it was a bummer.
That sucks.
Yeah, Sean and I did Long Day at the theater. He saw 3, or he saw 4, I saw 3. Did Cunningham also, which was a 3D dance documentary, which sounded really cool.
Nice.
Didn't really know much. It's about the choreographer, and I didn't really know much about him. And there was be these really cool sequences, like shot in forests, or these like experimental sets of people dancing in 3D, and it was like really slow dolly movements. Is super cool. But then that would go on for like 1 to 2 minutes, and then there would be like 10 to 15 minutes of like black and white archival footage with like interview VO. And then it's just like you're watching archival footage on different planes in 3D, which like at first was like an interesting way to do it, but then kind of just became boring. And I was like, how about like more really cool 3D dance sequences?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was kind of a bummer.
Okay.
But the big daddy saw The Irishman there.
Man. What you think, man?
Honestly, Irishman's a banger, dude.
Oh, my God.
It's a banger.
I can't wait.
I really enjoyed it. I thought the aging looked great.
Awesome.
Looked super good. Yeah.
Good.
So, yeah.
That's great. I know that's like I don't know, I guess kind of a controversy, but it's a
I
thing.
was sweating. I was sweating over it. Like,
yeah, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. But.
Yeah. It's weird the first time it happened, like when it goes back and like you start to see it's like, oh, okay, like I don't know, but you're just like, yeah, De Niro rules, like Joe Pesci rules.
Oh
like,
my God,
you know what I mean? Like, it's really good. I really liked it a lot.
Where would you say, like, it's like a really great Scorsese film?
Well, we'll wait. Let's wait on that.
Okay.
If we're gonna review it, I gotta save something, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's killing me. All right. Well, it should be showing.
I mean, I'll say if you really want to know, I'll say. But I'm just,
Well, I mean, I guess just say like, is it a top tier Scorsese?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's all I wanted to know. Great.
It feels like a culmination.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? Like a big like.
Amazing.
It feels big.
Great.
It's really good. Gotta see it in the theater. Have to.
If it's here, I will definitely try to see it there.
Breeze of 3.5 hours.
Really?
Like, I left once because I had to, and then I was just like, it ended, and I was like, that was 3.5 hours. Wow. Like,
good. That's great.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like, oh man, it's quite an undertaking,
Yeah, it's long, but very few people left, honestly, seemingly in the theater. Like, there wasn't like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna try and see it in theaters if I can, because I know Scorsese. That's he makes his films for that. Got to. But if not, obviously I'll try and see it on Netflix immediately, and we'll review it then. And
gotta see the biggest CG Joe Pesci you can.
Yeah,
get him as tall as possible.
Oh man, I'm so excited for that movie. All right, good to know. Does that wrap up your festival?
Yeah, we snuck into Jojo Rabbit between movies, but left, so can't really talk.
Oh, okay. I plan on seeing that this weekend too. Oh,
Didn't
really?
see the whole thing. Didn't see the whole thing though. So
okay. Well, all right. We'll talk more about that offline.
Yeah.
All right. What else did I watch? Last night I was sitting around and I was like, oh, it's just on Amazon. I was like, I've been wanting to see it. I'll rent it. It's, documentary that came out this year called Hail Satan? ?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see this. It's the topic interests me, and yeah, I would say it's worth a watch. It's not like an incredible documentary, but it sort of just is a very explanatory view and just kind of a viewpoint into what the Satanic Temple is trying to do with their message. If people don't know, like the Satanic Temple is that they don't actually worship Satan. They are atheists who use the symbolic representation of Satan to express like freedom and breaking away from the norm of one viewpoint. America's not a Christian nation. It's a nation of many different religious views, and that's sort of what they're trying to promote. And they were famous for putting up their monument. I think it was in Kentucky or Arkansas. Don't remember, even though I just watched it. They put up a monument next to the Ten Commandments. And so it kind of follows them as through their history and like trying to get that built and approved and then installing that.
Yeah.
So it follows that whole process. Pretty interesting. It's pretty momentous, I would say, in recent history, so it's definitely worth watching in that respect. And I found like a lot of their viewpoints to be very enlightening, and I think that everyone should watch it because it really does break the stigma of what a lot of people think that they are, So,
yeah, totally.
Anyway, yeah, Hail Satan. It's on Amazon Prime, and worth checking out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I watched Missing, directed by Costa Gavras. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but it's about it has Sissy Spacek, Jack Lemmon. I think it's like early 80s movie.
Nice.
But it's about Sissy Spacek and her husband live in South America, and there's a coup going on, and there's like a curfew, and there's like violence in the streets, and it's pretty crazy. And then all of a sudden he goes missing, and they were supposed to meet up at a certain point. He never comes back. Their house is disheveled. So then Jack Lemmon plays his dad, who then comes to South America, meets up with Sissy Spacek, and they're trying to find him, but it's impossible, essentially, because if something happened, then clearly it's not been documented, and I don't know. It's very affecting movie. I had loved it. It's incredible. Like, you should definitely check it out. It's very, very engaging. Very sad. Extremely sad movie. But extremely well done. Great performances. Great cinematography. It's a banger, man.
What's it called?
Missing.
Mm-hmm. That came out this year?
No, it's early 80s movie.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, cool. Nice. I want to check that out.
Very good.
Awesome. I got one more. Unfortunately, I've been super busy. I didn't watch as many horror movies as I wanted to, and I just haven't been watching as much movies as I want to. But I got one more. I will talk about another Netflix film. It's a documentary. It's called Tell Me Who I Am. I don't know if you heard about this.
It sounds familiar, but
yeah, it's the trailer and what's being like marketed makes it seem like two twin brothers who haven't spoken in years and years get back together, and one of the twins tells the other what has happened. Basically, when one of the twins was very young, he was in an accident and he lost all of his memory. The only thing that he held on to was who his brother was. And so he basically had to rebuild his own life from the bottom up. Like, this is a pencil. This is a kitchen. This is from everything. And he listened to his twin brother on all of that. And so it's a very interesting view, because it's like, can you become a different person if you lose all your memory, But anyway, the advertising makes it seem like they haven't spoken, and that's not true. They just haven't talked about one specific thing, which is what happened in their childhood. And basically, the one twin brother holds back some information to save his twin brother, the one who lost his memory, from a painful memory.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give anything away, but it is kind of traumatizing. It is it's upsetting. So if there's any kind of trigger for you, I just want to throw a warning out there. It's maybe sensitive to some people, but it was very well made. It's very well shot. I do think the pacing was a little bit slow. It kind of drags out the story a little longer than it needs to be. But it was definitely a great watch. It looked great on 4K, and the story is shocking. So I just kind of found it fascinating that someone could like lose all their memory like that, and then you find out slowly as he pieces things together, he pieces his own history back together, and found that was pretty interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Tell Me Who I Am. Worth checking out. It's on Netflix.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got a few. But
I'm pretty much done.
I guess quickly, I watched Dolomite Is My Name.
How was that?
Eddie
I've been
Murphy.
curious.
It's pretty generic. Like, it's pretty stock story.
Yeah.
But that being said, I still thought it was like a lot of fun to watch.
Okay.
Just like, I get this. Like, this clearly, like, not all of this is verbatim how it happened, clearly.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I enjoyed hanging out with the characters. I thought Eddie Murphy was really good. I also remember the Dolomite movie, and I was a big fan of it in high school. I haven't seen it in a long time, but like, so like seeing all that's fun. It was just fun. I like Rudy Ray Moore.
Nice.
So
I heard Wesley Snipes is pretty funny in it.
yes, Wesley Snipes is very funny in it.
I still want to watch it.
Yeah, it's worth watching.
Okay.
It's like a solid like 3.5-star movie.
All right, that's cool. That's cool with me.
Yeah,
That's pretty
just like
decent.
fun, entertaining, easy
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah.
Like good performances.
Cool.
So enjoyed that, and then last night I watched the original Ringu.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, I remember I had seen it like shortly after the remake came out. I remember renting it, but I was just like, okay, like it didn't really.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I don't really. I can't say I really remember anything about it.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was like a pretty solid like thriller horror movie. Like I
Nice.
definitely knew where a lot of it was going just based on, knowing from
The culture of the story, and yeah.
yeah. But I thought it was really well executed. It's well shot. Like I was spooked out. I was getting freaky. I was like, I watched it last night, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't have watched this at night. And I was like, no, I should if I'm thinking that. Like that's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So after this cast, I might watch Ring 2. You know what I mean?
Nice, dude.
Just keep it going. Keep the train going.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
I remember watching the original Ring. Well, the remake.
Yeah.
When I was younger, and totally being freaked out from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few movies in everyone's life where they remember being freaked out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which never happens to me anymore. Like it just doesn't happen. I'm just so desensitized to horror films now.
Yeah.
But it's always nice. I'm always looking for that feeling again.
Yeah, it's good. I was like home alone, turned all the lights off. And I was
Ooh.
like, I'm in a house and like
creepy.
my cat jumped like off a bed upstairs. And I was like, what's that? What's going on?
Nice. That's good.
But yeah, I don't know. In the one question I had, I don't know if you remember, in the American Ring,
Yeah.
what is all that's on the videotape the well, or is there a bunch of other stuff?
There's a bunch of other stuff.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't remember that. So then watching this one, it's like majority, like a ton of crazy imagery. And I was like, I don't remember this at all.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't know if that was like just my memory. Or...
It's like a whole video.
Yeah,
the American one. There's like a whole bunch of different sequences. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing for this. I was curious.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
Shall we move on to our forced films?
Let's do it, mate.
Let's do it. I'll go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah, man.
I will say, you gave me to watch, I'm drawing a blank now.
Candyman.
You had me watch Candyman.
Yeah.
I was very surprised by this movie. I
Right?
really liked it.
It's a good movie.
It's
like
really good.
yeah.
You know, I'd heard the urban legend of Candyman before. It's well known, I guess, in popular culture when you're young, or at least when we were kids. Which was around the time the movie came out in the 90s. And but yeah, had never seen this film. I don't know why. I think it feels like a very underrated classic almost. Like it's
great. Yeah.
It's really well made. The effects are awesome. The story too. I love that you get a complete story, and it goes like further. Like they could have copped out at any moment to where you know, he disappears and that was it. You know, or no, you get a full arc in the story, which I loved. And I think you had talked about this movie on the podcast a few episodes ago, but I will agree.
Yeah,
with
I rewatched it.
I will say I'll agree with your sentiment that you said then, which is it has some representation in there that definitely was absent during that time period. And to see that, kind of like in the slums of Chicago, was it was a really interesting setting for the film. And
totally.
I started out, and I think probably the first quarter of it, I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. Then it hits a certain point where I was like, this is actually really good. It's like a really good movie. Yeah,
it's solid. It's like very engaging. It's scary at times.
Yeah,
you like feel for all the like their actual characters, and also that score, baby, right?
And the score is great.
Score is so good. Like
Philip
when it's
Glass.
bumping at the end during that fire.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, oh my God, like it's getting so big. Like, oh, it's incredible. Such a good piece of music.
Yeah, it's great. Highly recommend if you like horror films.
Yeah.
And you've missed out on this movie, freaking check it out. Totally worth it.
Totally. There's some really interesting like stuff about Chicago in it too. You know what I mean?
I'm
like,
sure.
It's those towers were like a very specific place, you know, Cabrini Green. And it's a giant Target now. It's literally just a huge Target. And it's like a really upscale area. Yeah. They tore them down. And it's just like the biggest Target I've ever seen. It's kind of sad. But also, like, I don't know. Like, it's weird.
I guess it's kind of a good thing, too. Like,
yeah, well, it's just displaced all those people, too. And then it's like...
sure.
It's just, like, very... I don't know. It's just like... it's just like, this is a Target? What? You know, it's just, like, really strange, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy that just like, those areas existed / still exist.
Yeah, because it was very close to downtown. Like, it's just north of downtown, you know, which is separate from, you know, a lot of the lower income spots now. It's just everything's been pushed south because of all the gentrification or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it's interesting in that context, too, like, living here and it being about Cabrini Green and all that stuff.
Having that perspective.
Seeing the old UIC building in it, it's cool.
Yeah, when I first started watching, I forgot completely that it took place in Chicago. There's that wide shot, like of the cityscape.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit, Chicago.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, cool. And then, yeah, it felt very Chicago, as well. So, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What you giving it?
I think I gave it a 4.5.
Hell yeah. It's a banger, dude.
Yeah, it's
like in terms of horror, like I feel like it's better than it needs to be in a way, which is good. You know, like
it is. It really is. It has some pulpy elements and
and it's not like a masterpiece.
A little bit. No, it's not a masterpiece.
But for like an urban legend like slasher movie, it's
and especially for that time, you got to think about the time too, and it's like that's great for what it is, and you know I like pulpy horror films too. That's not a bad thing. So
no, totally.
It was cool to have something like that had those elements, and it was well crafted as well.
Yeah. It's a good one, man.
Yeah.
Glad you liked it.
Yeah, man. And so I had you watch a much more recent movie. Why don't you go for it?
Art of Self-Defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I liked. It was good.
Cool.
It's definitely laughed quite a bit, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
The opening scene's really funny with the gag where they just like rag on him and then he leaves and it's like, so now you should fully understand French.
Yeah.
Like that, and there's the joke also of him buying the belts and he has a black belt.
Yes.
And he's like, I'll cherish this forever. Is very funny. Like, it's
all the belts, like getting the belts.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't love the ending.
Yeah.
I think I liked the very ending, but I kind of saw some of it coming with like the final showdown and all that. But I thought it was a good watch. I liked it. I thought Jesse Eisenberg was good.
Yeah.
I like the that style of delivery.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy. It's like very deadpan and flat.
Very
and
deadpan.
Almost like no one has any emotion.
Yeah.
I do think it was strange because it felt like certain actors like got that more than other actors. So it kind of has like a weird vibe where it felt like it was kind of like popping out of that style at times. So, or like it didn't fully commit to it, but a lot of the humor I think comes from that sensibility.
Absolutely.
And I feel like those jokes are really funny.
Yeah, like that's some of the funniest parts is that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just everyone very plainly speaking, and like even his like his messages being like, you have only one message. And like stuff like that, you know what I mean? Just like adding like little skews and digs. But it was a little unclear about some of the stuff that was going on, but overall I think I liked that guy's performance.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was funny. Like I enjoyed it.
Cool. Yeah. I know it's not a banger film, but it's a movie that I saw earlier this year that like I literally like still think about. And as time has progressed, I've realized I like it more and more. And it just sort of stuck with me. Like after I watched it, I was like, that's funny. It's okay. Yeah, it was cool. But it's like, I don't know, it's a movie that I just really like the concept of it. And
yeah, totally.
It just like has stuck with me. So we'll see if it does the same for you. I just really liked it. So
yeah, it's fun.
There's some lines that have stuck with me, or like there's moments that I think about, and just like I like the deadpan delivery of comedy was just really nice.
Yeah, totally.
Cool, man. So what do you rate it?
Probably like 3.5.
Yeah, totally fair. Yeah.
It's solid. I'm glad because I hadn't seen a trailer or anything for it either, but I was
really?
aware of it. Yeah,
Okay.
so I was like, oh, I should watch that at some point, and then you texted me, so it's like, oh yeah, for sure. Worked out good.
Cool. All right, well, that's gonna end it for our forced films for this episode. We're gonna move on to non-spoilers for The Lighthouse, starting right now.
Tell me, what's a timberman want with being a wiki?
Just looking to earn a living, just like any man. Starting new.
On the run. Keeping secrets, are you?
No, sir.
Why don't you spill your beans? Why don't you spill your beans?
Lighthouse. We both kind of saw this a bit ago. It has. It's not like
I'm a little
super fresh for us.
I'm hazy on, and I was looking at my letterbox. I think I saw Parasite like 2 days after our last cast, so it's been a minute for that one too.
Parasite, I saw a few, like 4 or 5 days ago, so it's a little more fresh for me. But The Lighthouse, definitely saw like a few weeks ago. So our review might be a little light. So we're just gonna go ahead and just talk very generic non-spoilers. Then we'll have some free discussion and spoilers, and then we'll move on. But The Lighthouse is the new Robert Eggers film, and a description from IMDb reads, "The hypnotic and hallucinatory tale of two lighthouse keepers on a remote and mysterious New England island in the 1890s." So Zach, generic thoughts, what did you think of the movie?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I will say I was a little disappointed, but I think that's only because I went in expecting it to be like easy 5 out of 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel the exact same.
Yeah. It's like there's a lot of interesting things in it, but I feel like there's a better movie somewhere in that edit. It just felt like they needed to edit it more, or like do another pass on it, or make it longer, make it shorter. It was in like a weird, the whole movie felt like it was in a weird nebulous like middle zone.
I agree.
For me.
I totally agree. Yeah, I was a little disappointed. That being, I still really liked it. I thought the performances were great. I thought it was the way it was shot was really great.
Yeah, it looks incredible. And it also looks really hard. It looked like a hard movie.
Really hard movie to shoot. And it really just feels like, it literally does feel like a combination of different legends, which is like what it is really. Yeah. It's a combination of these different lighthouse stories. And like the two lighthouse keepers going crazy, like that's a true story. I looked that up, and it's on Wikipedia. Kind of crazy, but I did feel like it needed a little bit something more to it. Like I didn't quite feel the dread that I like really was hoping to grab from it. I think that, and I watched The Witch like a day before this movie, and I would say that The Witch is just kind of a superior film to this one.
I agree. It's more assured. It seemed like this didn't feel like visually it felt very calculated.
Yeah.
But it seems like there was just like something missing, that like maybe they just like didn't get it, or like they had to cut it down maybe, because I think one of my
it felt kind of cut down a little bit.
One of my bigger issues, I felt like it got going too fast. Like within minutes of them getting there, spooky things were already happening.
Yeah, and
I didn't really get a grasp on what they're even doing, and then they're like up at different times. It's like, so that they just like do whatever, and like, but then also Willem Dafoe's very strict. So then it's like, so what are these schedules? And like, I guess like,
except when they're at night,
always matter. Yeah, it doesn't always matter to know everything, but like, I don't even know what their jobs are. Really. Right. So
like maintain the lighthouse, what does that entail really?
Yeah, because you see them doing things, but it's like, okay, I can infer what this is. But I also thought that, well, I guess this is getting into spoiler territory. So
okay, well let's
save that thought for later.
Let's go ahead and get into that. I think we both liked it, but we were expecting something greater, and we didn't quite achieve that. But we're going to get into spoilers for The Lighthouse starting now.
How long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? Help me to recollect.
All right, so what was that thought, Zach?
That it gets to the point where he's leaving very fast.
Yeah.
So it kind of like, it shows them have dinner like 3 times at night, and then the third time it's like, so tomorrow's the day, and it's just like, well, clearly it's not. Right. You know what I mean? Like, this movie could have all taken place over the course of that time period. Like, I don't know. And I'm not saying that that's a flaw, because I mean, that's the story of the movie.
Yeah,
but
that's the concept.
It didn't.
Like, they lose track.
It didn't. The beginning, I felt rushed. It was like, I didn't get the idea that he really wanted to go, because it felt so fast.
It wasn't very like rushed, yeah.
When it was like, you finally get to go, there was no relief, because it was like, oh, already?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so the beginning, I felt like I just needed more time of them just like doing nothing, kind of just like doing maintenance, and then maybe having some of the character stuff that comes in after, because it's also like they don't talk about their names or anything for how long are they supposed to be there? 3 months?
Yeah,
4
it's
months?
supposed to be 3 months. 3 months.
Yeah, so it's like for 3 months you don't ask someone's name, so, but like that's after the boat doesn't come.
But then
So
but then he said his name, and then he was like, "That's not my real name." Then they both had the
Yeah.
same name.
It just seems like they didn't actually bond until after that happened, which I guess is
Yeah.
a thing where like they're keeping it professional, but it just seems like you get fucking bored, and like
Yeah.
that I think they could have taken some of that character development and like plopped it in the beginning, and then it would have been a better ramp at the end if I had it was almost too fast of a burn. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it
I
got
agree.
going so fast. Yeah.
I agree. The pacing was too fast. I wanted more. Make it longer. It's not even that long. It's almost 2 hours, but it felt very
Yeah.
rushed. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Other than that and the pacing, like, I liked their accents. I thought the way it would,
Robert Pattinson's was it didn't feel
No?
consistent. Yeah.
that's true. Like at one point it changed and it like became very like New England. I guess it was weird.
Yeah, and it was like I don't know if that was based on the turn that you find out about his character, but if so, I didn't think that worked. I thought Willem Dafoe was stronger. His
Yeah.
performance was stronger than Robert Pattinson's.
I agree with that. Yeah, and I don't need to like know what was in the lighthouse either. I just felt like
Yeah.
that seemed a little. Like I wanted that to be more momentous, you know. Like I wanted that to be
Yeah,
like
it's
stronger.
built up a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
the shot in the beginning where he comes out and looks at the lighthouse and you see the light go by and there's the shadow of Willem Dafoe like stretched out in it is amazing.
Yeah,
You know, and it's like you're building up all this mystery about the light, and it's like I don't need to see what's in the light, but just to see that it's light is like, yes, it's light. But there was no like I didn't
you don't feel
and
what
then
what that is like.
yeah, like there could have been a moment that felt stronger using the same ingredients. Like I liked what was there, but I felt like I needed a little bit more, and then to just end immediately after that on the shot of him getting like his
Yeah.
guts getting eaten, I was like, I don't know if I needed that. It's just
Yeah,
it ended weird. Like it
did.
I don't know.
Had a weird ending.
Yeah.
Another thing is I didn't get a good sense of the island itself. Like I wish
Yeah.
it like felt more isolated and tight. Like even if like Robert's like more stuff of him doing random things and being bored. Like if he had like maybe like gone to the edge of the shore and just sort of like wished he could like leave it or something, or
Yeah.
just give me a couple moments of that. And it just I didn't feel like it was even like an island really. Like it was
Yeah,
like
'cause they-
shot in a way like it was supposed to look like one, but I didn't really feel like it was isolated.
It would have been nice to see the back side, because like how big is this island?
Right.
Like, can you like walk to the other side in less than 5 minutes?
I think that's
Like
the
it
idea.
could be really small. You know
I
what
think
I mean?
that's the
So-
idea. Is like
Yeah.
it's supposed to be
So-
like that.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the wides that they had from really far. And I don't. It's not to say like I needed like a top-down view of it or something, but yeah, there was no for a movie called The Lighthouse, and it's always kind of pretentious when people say it, but like it being a character, like I didn't feel like
Yeah.
the lighthouse itself like
Yeah.
had like a presence as much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
didn't feel the presence of the location.
I didn't either. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a few things. But I could keep going, but I do think overall I enjoyed it, but yeah, I was a little disappointed,
Yeah.
especially since I had just seen The Witch, and rewatching it, I was like, this film's actually amazing. Like this movie
It's
is
so good. Yeah.
really freaking good.
It's paced very well.
Yeah, one more thing I'll say is I think there is an obvious like language barrier. Like same with The Witch. I had a hard time kind of following exactly what they're trying to say.
Yeah, I do too.
I kind of needed
I think that's
subtitles.
kind of a common.
Yeah. It's not like necessarily a hit against the movie. I think the concept of using the language in that time directly from like written sources is cool, but it was like a little hard for me to follow just on some things.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I generally got it enough where I wasn't like, wait, what's that? You know? But
Same,
it is hard. I think you could have, even just in like the sound mix, made it a little more upfront at certain times. Especially in the beginning, everyone's mumbling. Like by the end, everyone's just screaming. So it's like, okay,
right.
well, I can get this. But yeah, I agree. It was a little hard to understand.
I did like the concept of the storm kind of coming into the lighthouse was pretty cool too.
Oh, absolutely. I like that a lot. The score at times was very good.
Yeah.
But I could have used less of it. And I think that just kind of goes back to stretching out the beginning more, maybe. It just seemed like the first 20 minutes was wall-to-wall score. And it was like a really big score. Like, it clearly is playing off the like sound of the lighthouse, which I also liked, the really ominous like horn sound.
Yeah.
But some of the stabs, like really early in the movie, he like mixes the stuff in the water supply, and then there's that like shot of all the swirling.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe like 10 minutes into the movie, and it's like, but it's like orchestral. It's not the lighthouse sound.
Yeah.
And just kind of like too ominous, where it's like,
it just amped too up. Like, too early.
Nothing's happened yet. Like,
right.
There's one thing about having a feeling when you come somewhere, but a feeling shouldn't be like violent terror, because then it'd be like, well, I'm fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't.
There was no build up. It was just instantly into it, and that's I think that a big flaw of it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Needed a little more ramp. Got a good ramp about halfway.
Make it quiet. Make it seem like it's boring. You know, like they're stuck on.
Show
this
Robert
island.
Pattinson
There's
shoveling coal for 5 minutes. I'll watch it. You know, like,
yeah. Well, what do you rate it?
Probably like 3.5, maybe a light 4. I feel like it'll go up on a rewatch, but like hard 3.5, I would say.
I think I've landed on a very light 4. But I'm nice. Kind of right there with you.
Yeah, and I do feel like it'll probably age well, but
I need to see it again.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, that's going to end it for our review of The Lighthouse. Zach.
Before we get in to the review of Parasite, Wes.
Oh, okay.
Gotta remind everyone about something. You specifically, you're a forgetful guy, so I just want to make sure that you remember. Yeah. For the listeners of the Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day free trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. So to download your free audiobook, go to audibletrial.com/LTURAM. Again, that's audibletrial.com/LTURAM for your free audiobook.
All right, cool. Well, we're going to get into our non-spoilers for Bong Joon-ho's new film, Parasite.
뭐야, 소독해? 창문 닫아.
나도 봐. 공짜로 집안에 소독도 하고.
부모님 얼굴도 뵙고 좋더라. 건강들 하시고.
일거리가 없으셔도.
네가 내 대신 얘 과외 선생님 좀 해줘라. 영어.
대학생인 척하라는 거야?
구라를 좀 치지 뭐.
넌 이 좋은 실력으로 왜 미대는 맨날 떨어지냐?
아이씨, 죽을래.
저는 이게 위조나 범죄라고 생각하지 않아요.
참으로시 이적절하다. 부자들이 원래 참 잘 속아.
사모님이 뭐랄까.
The description from IMDb says, all unemployed, Kai-taek's family takes peculiar interest in the wealthy and glamorous parks for their livelihood until they get entangled in an unexpected incident. Directed by Bong Joon-ho. Zach.
Our king.
What you think?
Fucking loved Parasite, dude. Thing's a banger. I was a very big fan. Thought it was very entertaining and affecting. I would say it met or exceeded my expectations. I was very into it.
Yeah, me too. I think it definitely exceeded my expectations. I knew it would be good, but it was a great film. And I wasn't. I think we've talked about this before. I wasn't a big fan of
Snowpiercer.
Yeah, didn't really like it. I know, and most people are, but wasn't a big fan of that movie. But I did like this film a lot. I also liked Oakjaw as well. So those are the only other films I've seen of his. Haven't seen Memories of Murder. Haven't seen The Host. Some of his other popular ones, but
you should check those out. By the way, I think you would really like Memories of Murder.
I've heard it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. You're a true crime guy. It's like.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, this film's freaking great. I love, like, you don't get the idea of like, oh, Parasite. They don't ever explain what that is. It's about this family who's feeding off another family. Like, it's a great title, actually. It's a really good title. Yeah,
totally.
I thought it was just really well done. It kind of has something to say as well about upper class families, you know, and kind of shows how this family is taking advantage of an upper class family and the privilege that they have too, and how when you have money and power that you kind of just believe that everything kind of revolves around you, you know, and you don't really think about the consequences. Yeah, thought it was awesome.
Yeah, man. Lots to say about the class system. Lots to say about a lot of shit, man. I don't know. It's a banger. I thought it was. I think he's very good at this, but more so than his other films. I think the juggling of tone is like so impressive. I don't know how they switch gears like that so fast. At 1 second, I'm like so sad, and then I am laughing out loud, and then I am really scared and be like, whoa, you know, like I don't know how those like mechanics work in this movie that it can be like these things almost simultaneously, you know. It's very well done, and it
completely works. It's at no point was I like, oh, this feels off or weird. I was just along for the whole thing. I felt every emotion, and I was with it. I was just like eyes glued on the screen, and that's just awesome. I think it handled the tone shifts better than Oakjaw, which it felt more dramatic and sharp a lot of the time. And I like felt the shifts. And this, I didn't really even feel the shifts. I knew them. I sensed them. Like, I know what's happening, but I'm not like feeling it in the flow of the film. Like, it felt like it was naturally part of the narrative, which was just fantastic.
Yeah. There's so many moments that I just like felt sick. But then I would also like laugh out loud at something. You know what I mean? Like and I think there's a really interesting twist. And I don't know, there's just so many like it's like pretty not obvious, but like it's very apparent what's going on in it. You know what I mean? Like and it just I don't know, it's does it so well, and it feels effortless in the movie. But it's so calculated. You know what I mean? And I think that's like a real sign of something special.
I agree. It's a really great movie. Yeah.
It's killer. All the performances are great. I guess I would have liked for the mom to be in it a little more. I thought the mom of the
that's fair.
Poor family. I thought she kind of comes in later in the game. Like, she's in the movie, but, like, prominently comes in later in the game.
I would have liked to see her more. Yeah.
I just thought she was really good. Like, I liked her a lot in it. So, a little more of her would have been nice. But overall, it moves very well. And the dynamics of, like, them initializing this, like, leech off the other family, but then, like, flipping that and recontextualizing it of like, well, where are they without them? And like there's this whole like push back and forth, and I feel like it rides your emotions very well, and it's like you feel being manipulated, but like in a good way, you know.
Yeah, and it goes into some dark places and has some nice twists and some violence that I didn't quite expect. I'm not sure I feel like it has a perfect ending, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm totally fine with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
I get that.
we can talk more about that coming
no,
up
it's
here.
spoiler section.
I think, yeah, any other thoughts real quick before we do spoilers?
Not really. I mean, it's kind of a boring one because it's just kind of like universal praise.
Yeah, it's
over
just like
here.
it's just good, guys.
I have yeah, it's great
I know.
cinematography. The score was good.
The lighting's great.
The lighting's great. The set design's incredible.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like even the subtle things about it, the way that like the houses parallel each other and stuff. It's like it's just killer. Just a fucking killer movie, man.
Yeah.
Like
it's
literally,
one of
I've been telling everyone I know, like, you gotta go see it. It's the best.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's not even like a lot to say. Like, just go freaking see it and experience it. You know.
yeah.
It's one of the like, probably one of the best foreign films I've seen. I would say, in terms of
great.
like the filmmaking and the budget, and I just like seeing like a really high budget foreign film. You don't see that all the time, so that was it was just cool to see. You know.
Yeah.
Just a banger.
Yeah, man. It's a banger, and it's like a corny thing, but it literally had like everything I wanted in it. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know like what else I needed from that. Just gave me exactly everything I needed from this concept, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
And it kind of generally too about movies. It's like strong characters.
Yeah.
Like very believable, has a strong stance on something to say, like great cinematography.
Great
it's
score.
funny.
Yep.
It's scary. Like it's I don't know. It's a banger, man.
I agree. All right, well, that being said, we will move into spoilers for Parasite, starting now.
I'm deadly serious.
근데 지금 진짜로 이상한 게 뭔 것 같아.
I guess the ending of what I was kind of referring to earlier was I'm not sure how I feel about the stabbing and sort of like the turn at the end there.
Of the father or of the general like happening of the whole
of the father.
Yeah.
Sort of thought that was like that kind of came out of nowhere for me. Not that I like hated it or anything, but it's just if I have to like, you know, rag on something, it was like that just felt a little maybe too shocking. Maybe it was just too shocking. I don't know, but it was yeah. I don't know how I felt about it. It didn't like ring as much for me as the rest of the film did, but
it worked for me. I think it just demonstrated like the breaking point, you know, and I think it's something that I also don't think would have like ever happened had this scenario not occurred, you know. Right. So it's just very impulsive and like him not thinking but just acting on like pure emotion.
Sure. And
it's like when the stakes are that high and your daughter is like bleeding there in front of you, and like number one, this guy like doesn't even give a shit about that. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't care about that. He cares only about his son, and is like comically disgusted by this man, who I also was dying laughing when he screamed respect at him. Like, so funny. He's like, respect! He's like, oh my God. It's like the funniest thing ever. I don't know. I think it made sense for me. And to the point where I like, just before I was like, is that gonna fucking happen right now? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like, oh god, like, so yeah, I don't know. I think the arc of that, like, I don't know what the movie would be without that, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. I think one scene that really, like, I really felt, quote unquote, was after the flood in the apartment, which is tragic and incredible and tragic, and
her
just,
smoking
like,
a cig on the exploding toilet.
Oh my god,
it's, like, so good.
So after that, the dad of the family is driving, the rich dad, and or no, the mom. I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of them where it was just like, oh, it was the mom. She's like on the cell phone. She's like, oh yeah, it was such a blessing to have that rain and stuff. And just like the shot of the dad's face, just like trying to stay calm, was just like, oh my god, you know. It's just like, that's another thing about the class system, that it's a message clearly, like they you know, there's people who literally lost their entire fucking homes in this flood and this rain, and then this rich person who's high up on this fucking mountain basically just was happy to have some rain. And that was just like, oh man, I could just like feel the anger there, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Like that was just, that's when it started to click, you know. It was just like, oh my god, they're literally relying on these rich people now, you know.
Yeah, totally.
But they're like falling apart and crazy.
The scene also where they're hiding under the table and they the dad says he smells like old radishes. I actually did cry a little bit. I welled up. I was like, oh, like, no.
Yeah.
Because it's like the perfect thing. It's like, they clearly don't give a shit about them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it would be so much if he was just like, man, I fucking hate this guy, blah, blah, blah. But it's almost like he like passively insults him to the point where it's like not even worth his time to insult him.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know what I mean? And
because
it's just,
they just don't give a shit about anyone but themselves. Yeah.
It's I found that part very another time where it was like simultaneous, very funny, but also like was
really sad.
Yeah, you know, like and I also think they did a good job about like it. I mean, not that like you're supposed to like empathize totally with the rich family, but I didn't think they made them like gross caricatures either. Like they still felt like people. Like they weren't like
but they
evil
weren't
monsters.
Yeah. They still felt like natural people who may or may not really be like that in that position. You know, when you have so much, you just don't give a shit about other people. Like you can have anything that you want. You have endless fucking money. Like that's the problem, you know. That's the difference between these people. But even like when you're just as the complete opposite and you're broke and poor, you'll do anything to survive, you know. And even if it means steal, fucking trick people and lie and do what you need to do to survive, it's like you empathize with all the characters, I think, which is which is important.
Just so many.
Sorry, go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
No,
you go.
Okay, I was just gonna say that I liked the whole plot element too of the downstairs secret compartment as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The huge fan of the automatic sensor lights being a guy slamming his head into buttons.
Yeah.
Like, so good. So good.
Having that, he was like sending out a message and...
Yeah. And just the fact that like these people walk in their house every day and the lights go on and they think nothing of it. And below their feet is a man flipping switches with his forehead. You know what I mean? To like make that happen. You know, it's just so crazy. It's like the perfect level of crazy. You know what I mean? Where it's just like what is going on in this thing right now? And the visual of her pushing open the bookcase too. Yeah. Where they come downstairs like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like standing in between
She's
them.
like completely horizontal in the air.
Yeah. Yeah, love that.
I love the concept also, too of the dad who had to end up surviving down there for months afterward, to like,
Yeah.
like, oh, that's where he hid from the police, you know, like, oh, that was good.
Yeah, it's good because no one knew about it, and then I do enjoy, like, the movie ends on a weird vibe that I think is really effective of the, like, the hopeful thing that, like, that's like a pipe dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like a happy ending on paper, but, like, it's not. You know?
Right.
And I liked him hiding in the house and that kind of, like, leading to that sort of
Totally. Yeah.
close to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
I feel like you had something else to say, but you didn't finish.
Yeah, no, there was one just joke that, or wasn't like a joke, but one moment that, oh yeah, when just like a little thing of the line when she's setting up the tables, and the dad's like, shh, he's sleeping. Because the kid's sleeping at the TV. Just this woman out there setting up all these tables. It was like unbelievable. Like, I don't know.
Setting
So
up this
funny.
whole party area.
Yeah.
Oh, he's sleeping. So it had to be quiet around the kid in the fucking tent.
Yeah, it's insane. It's so funny. I guess I could have sworn, like, I don't know how they didn't. This is my one nitpick.
Yeah.
And it's honestly one particle of dust, but I don't know how they didn't notice all the garbage under the couch. Because remember, they're in the living room, and she just sweeps all the garbage under the couch. I feel like someone, because if you're walking that door and you look across, you would see the garbage under that couch. That's my one qualm. They should have just bag up the garbage and throw it somewhere else. You know what I mean?
You would see it. You would see it.
Yeah, because there was like, it was like a whole day pretty much before she was able to clean that, right?
It was
Before,
like almost a day, or is it at least like till the next day.
Because they sleep that night. They sleep there,
right?
And then
they like wait till like dawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was nuts. The house was really cool.
Very cool. The
great
design.
Place to shoot that.
Lots of cool shots going into the door to the basement.
Yeah.
Really liked in the kitchen, the like dark ass door. That was really cool. I like the mirroring of their giant window versus the long window in the other family's house, and like how both of them are constantly like situated in the same way, but like there's just the visual difference in that, like in the set design.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Great movie.
Hell
all right.
Yeah.
Well, what do you rate it?
Easy 5 out of 5 for me.
It's deserved. Yeah. Yeah, I give it a 5 as well. It's just
it's a banger, man.
I don't really have much bad to say about it. It's pretty freaking great. Yeah.
It's also one I think it makes sense that everyone really likes, because I think it's just like pretty universal and watchable. And for something to be that universal and watchable, but also to be like so specific, is just really interesting to me. It's like it's broadly specific somehow. You know what I mean? And
it's so entertaining too. Like despite all the like terrible things that you feel, it's a very entertaining thing to watch. Like I can't wait to watch it again. It's like it's a great ride, you know.
It's really sad, but like I had so much fun at the same time, and I don't know how you can leave and have that feeling.
Yeah.
You know? It's just kind of like an enigma to me. I'm like, I don't know how this was so fun and scary and sad.
It's just like one of those movies, for some reason it just all clicks. It's like that's so hard to achieve, you know, like, especially as two people who've made films before, have we work on videos and production and post-production. Like that little moment of like just hitting that chime perfectly is so rare, and it hardly ever happens like on purpose too. Like it just sort of tends to fall there, and I think Parasite hits that tone perfectly. Just fucking works. Just works.
Yeah, it's just a good idea executed extremely well, and it's really fun to watch. I literally would have I want to see it again so bad. Like I'm just like convincing everyone who hasn't seen it. I'm like, what are you doing tonight? Let's go. Like, I want to go. Like, I want to go see it again.
Nice. I had a great experience too because I went with I actually have 2 Korean friends who had never been to Incheon.
Oh, nice.
And they know some of his Bong Joon-ho's films, and I was like, "You never been to Incheon? New Bong Joon-ho film is out. Let's fucking go." And so my wife and I took them, and we had 2 couches up like near the front, and it was like we had the perfect seating. It just had a great fucking time, and so overall it was a great experience. Like, great movie.
Nice.
Incheon, it was fucking awesome, and the weather was perfect that time we walked out. You know, it was just great time. So
nice, man.
Yeah. All right, well, that's gonna do it for our review of Parasite. We're kind of cutting this episode short, but we got through a lot of stuff real quick. We also hadn't seen those films for a little bit, so
yeah, a little fuzzier on the. It's funny because it's like you always hope that the movies are good, but also if they're bad, it's way more fun because
for
when they're good, you
podcasting,
just go,
for sure.
This part's good, this part's good, this part's good. Like,
it makes for much more interesting conversation when we can just kind of tear something apart.
Absolutely.
But in this case, it's kind of a happy thing.
Yeah, because it's a banger, man.
Exactly. All right, well, as always, you can find other episodes of this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube.
Oh, sorry. I closed my... follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and if you enjoy the show, please consider leaving a review in iTunes, because every rating brings us more listeners. Email us at listentousrantaboutmovies@gmail.com.
Thank you to our Patreon producer, Sean Pierce, and our other Patreon supporters. You too can be a producer and or supporter of this podcast by visiting our Patreon page and becoming a monthly patron for as little as $1. Visit www.patreon.com/LTURAM podcast. That's going to be it for this episode. Zach, great talk as always.
Yeah, man. Until next time.
Until next time.